The Steubenville rape trial is one of two cases that are captivating the nation right now. The other is the murder trial of Jodi Arias in Arizona. Let's go down to Jami Floyd, an attorney and managing editor of the Global Game World Report. Thanks for joining me, Jami.
My pleasure.
So let's start with the Steubenville case. As we heard from Ron, a lot of this case hinges upon these text messages. So how prominent of a role are they going to play, and how does that factor in when we're talking about evidence in a legal proceeding?
Well, in this case, it's key. There is no evidence that has yet been recovered, and seemingly none that was saved, physical evidence of rape. In most rape cases, you have what is known as the rape kit, evidence that the young woman was assaulted. Then you have to prove that there was a forcible assault. But here, quite a bit of time went by before any sexual assault was reported at all. All we have are, as Ron reported, the tens of thousands of text messages that went on amongst minors about this alleged assault. It is horrific what young men said on some of these videotapes that went viral. But is that evidence of consent? Is it evidence of assault? And it's an unprecedented case where you're going to try these young men, and this accuser is going to bring this case based exclusively on text messages. It is really quite something, and that is why it has garnered national attention, plus the emotion involved. And all of the witnesses Ron talks about, virtually all of them, with the exception of police and prosecution, evidentiary kind of witnesses, are going to be young people, minors.
And from a legal perspective, how are text messages treated? Are they like any other written communication, like a letter or an email? Is it more like a conversation? Where do they fall?
Well, there are two stages whenever these kinds of evidence pieces come in. They have to be verified. And then, yes, the second stage, they're treated as anything else. And this is an area where the technology is outpacing the law. We're finding more and more in criminal cases that the trail you leave as a witness, as a defendant, I mean, it's amazing to me that these young people are sitting in a room where this kind of behavior, whether these young men are guilty or not, this kind of behavior is going on, taking a videotape, creating a record, and then for days afterward on both sides of the case, and no one is notifying the authorities. But this is how criminal cases more and more are going to be tried.
Well, I think for a lot of people, especially young people, there's a perception that once you hit send, it disappears.
Oh,
but moving on to the other aspects of this case, you know, the defense is saying that the sexual activity was consensual. The prosecution is saying that this woman was too drunk, she was too impaired to have consented. Can you explain that distinction?
Yes, this case is not, in the end, really about the text messages, because the text messages cannot prove the ultimate question, which is consent. No one is going to be able to demonstrate whether this young woman gave consent except the young woman herself. They need that accuser to come forward and explain whether or not she consented. And this is a terribly difficult area of law. Rape cases are the most emotionally fraught, with the possible exception of murder cases. This is a 16-year-old girl. 16 is the age of consent in Ohio. And so this is terribly difficult for the prosecution to have to prove consent. What these boys did was morally reprehensible. There is no question about it, because we have the video evidence of that. But was it legally sexual assault, digital penetration against the consent and will of this young girl? That's what prosecutors have to prove.
Now, we just have a little bit of time left, but I want to talk quickly about the Jodi Arias trial happening in Arizona. Now, she's taken the stand for 18 days where she answered 220 questions submitted by jurors. Have they done enough to make a strong case in her defense?
These cases, it's funny, these cases are complete dichotomies. In Ohio, you have a judge sitting in judgment of these two young men. In the Jodi Arias case, you have a jury submitting 150 questions with a defendant on the witness stand answering those questions. Highly unusual for a jury to ask 150 questions. The other case, you have a judge sitting in judgment. This is unusual. Generally, juries don't ask questions. And another unprecedented situation, because I've never heard of a defendant on the witness stand for 18 days. I don't know that they've done her a service, but they didn't have a choice. In self-defense, you've got to take the witness stand.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it at that. Jami Floyd, thank you so much for your perspective.
My pleasure.